What's up? I'm Lily. Revenge Crown brings you the stories that keep you hooked. If that sounds good, smash subscribe and let's go. My key didn't work. I stood on the front porch of the house I'd lived in for 8 years. The house I bought with my own money, and my key slid into a lock that had been changed while I was at work. The deadbolt was new, shiny brass that caught the afternoon light. My parents stood in the doorway like sentries, blocking my entry to my own home. "What's going on?" I asked, my scrub still damp with sweat from a 12-hour shift in the A. My father crossed his arms. He was wearing his weekend clothes, khakis, and a polo shirt, the uniform of a man who believed authority came from posture. "We've been talking, Jordan. Your mother and we think it's time you learned to stand on your own 2 feet. My mother nodded, her perfume drifting toward me, heavy and suffocating, the kind that announced her presence before she entered a room. "This house isn't yours to take for granted. You're 32 years old. You should have your own place by now." I stared at them. My shift bag hung from my shoulder, heavy with my stethoscope and the energy bars I never had time to eat. My feet ached. My back hurt. I'd spent the morning saving a man's life after a car accident and the afternoon holding the hand of a woman who did unsurvive hers. I was tired in a way that went past my bones. "This is my house," I said. "We raised you here," my mother said. "We've lived here for 35 years. I bought this house 8 years ago," I said, each word careful and measured. "My name is on the deed." My father's face didn't change. "That's a technicality. We're your parents." "This is the family home," a technicality. The words sat between us like something rotten. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. My mother's eyes went wide. My father stepped forward, one hand raised like he could stop what was already happening. "What are you doing?" my mother asked. "Calling the police," I said. The dispatcher answered. I gave my address, calm and clear. "I'm being illegally locked out of my home. The owners changed the locks while I was at work. I'm the legal owner, and I'm being denied entry." "Jordan, don't be ridiculous," my father said. The dispatcher asked for my name, asked me to stay on the line, asked if I was in danger. I said no, just locked out, just need an officer to help sort this out. She said someone was on the way. I thanked her and hung up. "You called the police on your own parents?" my mother asked, her voice rising into that register she used when she was performing shock for an audience, even though we were the only ones there. "I called the police because I'm being denied access to my property," I said. "We're trying to help you grow up," my father said. "By changing the locks on my house?" "It's not your house. Check the deed," I said. The police arrived in 8 minutes. I knew because I counted. Officer Martinez stepped out of the squad car, young and composed, notebook already in hand. Officer Chun followed, older, her expression neutral. "Who called?" Martinez asked. "I did," I said. "I'm Jordan Ellis. I own this house. My parents changed the locks while I was at work and won't let me in." "You're the parents?" "We've lived here for 35 years, my mother said. "We raised our children here. This is our home. Who's on the deed?" Chun asked. "I am," I said. I pulled up the photo on my phone, the deed I'd photographed and saved when I bought the place. When my real estate attorney had told me to keep copies of everything. Jordan Ellis, sole owner. Purchased 8 years ago. Martinez looked at the photo, then at my parents. "Is this accurate?" My father's jaw tightened. "It's complicated. It's not complicated," I said. "I bought this house. I pay the mortgage, I pay the property taxes, I pay the insurance. My name is on every document, but we live here," my mother said. "Do you pay rent?" Chun asked. Silence. "Do you have a lease?" Chun asked. More silence. Chun looked at me. "You're the legal owner?" "Yes. And they changed the locks without your permission." "Yes." Chen turned to my parents. "That's illegal. You need to provide access immediately or you'll be charged with illegal eviction." Chun turned to my parents. My mother's face went pale. "Illegal eviction?" "We're his parents. That doesn't give you the right to lock someone out of their own property," Martinez said. "This is insane," my father said. "Jordan, tell them this is a misunderstanding." I smiled, then small, calm, dangerous. "It's not a misunderstanding. You changed the locks on my house without permission. That's illegal." Give me the keys or these officers will charge you. At first confusion, then recognition, then color draining inch by inch. My mother looked at my father. My father looked at the officers. The officers waited, patient and official. We were just trying to teach him responsibility, my mother tried. By illegally locking him out? Chan asked. No answer. The keys, Martinez said.
Now.
My father reached into his pocket and pulled out 2 keys on a new ring.
He held them for a moment like he was considering refusing, like he was weighing whether his pride was worth a criminal charge. Then he dropped them into my hand.
Thank you, I said to the officers. Do you want to press charges? Chan asked. I looked at my parents standing on the porch of my house, wearing their comfortable weekend clothes, stunned into silence. Not today. But I want this documented. We'll file a report, Martinez said. Call us if there are any more problems. They left. I stood on my porch with my parents and the new keys and the weight of what had just happened. How could you? My mother whispered. How could you humiliate us like that? You changed the locks on my house, I said. How is that not humiliating me? We're trying to help you, my father said. Help me what? Leave my own home? You're too comfortable, my mother said. You're not building your own life. I built this, I said, gesturing to the house. I bought it. I pay for it. This is my life. I unlocked the door with my new key and went inside. They followed me, still talking, still justifying. I dropped my bag on the floor and turned to face them. Why are you still here? I asked. We live here, my mother said. Not anymore, I said. The words hung in the air. My mother's mouth opened. My father took a step forward. What are you saying? He asked. I'm saying you don't live here anymore. You changed the locks. You tried to kick me out. You called my ownership a technicality. You don't get to live in my house after that. Jordan, be reasonable, my mother said. I am being reasonable. You're the ones who decided I don't belong in my own home. So you need to find somewhere else. We don't have anywhere to go, my father said. You have 30 days, I said. That's more than you gave me. I wasn't always the homeowner. 8 years ago, I was the resource, the hinge that made it move. My older brother Kyle got the college fund that covered 4 years at a private university. I got community college and night shifts at Target to pay for it. Kyle got a car for graduation. I got congratulations and a suggestion to save up for my own. When Kyle's startup failed and he needed money to get back on his feet, our parents took out a home equity loan. When I asked for help with nursing school tuition, they said I was capable and responsible and would figure it out. I figured it out. I worked full-time while going to school full-time. I slept 4 hours a night. I ate ramen and peanut butter sandwiches. I graduated with honors and $60,000 in debt. I got a job at County General. I worked overtime. I saved every dollar I could. My parents' home equity loan came due when I was 26. The payments were too high. They were going to lose the house. Kyle was living in California, sending texts about his new opportunities and his new girlfriend and his fresh start. I was the one still local, still available, still the resource. My mother called crying. My father called angry. They needed help. Family helps family. I was doing well, wasn't I? Nurses made good money. Couldn't I help with the payments? I could. I did. For 2 years, I sent money every month. $1,500. Then $2,000 when they said it wasn't enough. I lived in a studio apartment with a mattress on the floor and ate hospital cafeteria food because it was cheaper than groceries. I sent money home and told myself I was being a good daughter. When I was 28, my real estate attorney hired for a consultation I paid for with money I should have been saving told me I was an idiot. You're paying their mortgage. You're not building equity. You're not even getting a tax write-off. You're just giving them money. They're my parents. They're adults who took out a loan they couldn't afford. That's not your responsibility. But it felt like my responsibility. Everything felt like my responsibility. The attorney gave me an option. Buy the house from them. Your name goes on the deed. You pay the mortgage directly. They can live there rent-free if you want, but it's yours. You're building equity. You have control. I went home and looked at the numbers. The house was worth $400,000. They owed $280,000. I had 50,000 saved. With closing costs and fees, I could make it work. Barely, I told my parents. I expected gratitude. I expected relief. I got negotiation. We should split ownership, my mother said. We'll all be on the deed together. No, I said, I'm buying it. My name only. But we've lived here for 30 years, my father said. And now you can live here while I own it and pay for it, I said. Or you can keep the house and figure out the payments yourself. They signed the papers. My name went on the deed, sole owner. Jordan Ellis, I paid the closing costs. I took over the mortgage. They stayed in the house, rent-free, bills paid by me. They got to keep living in their home without the burden of ownership. I got equity and control, or I thought I did. For 4 years, it worked. I paid the mortgage $1,900 a month. I paid the property taxes $6,000 a year. I paid the insurance $1,400 a year. I paid for a new roof when the old one leaked $12,000. I paid for a new water heater $1,500. I paid for everything while my parents lived comfortably in my house and told their friends about our home and our neighborhood and our investment. Kyle visited once a year, stayed in his old room, and told me I was so generous for helping Mom and Dad. He didn't offer to contribute. He didn't ask how much I was paying. He just enjoyed the free lodging and told me I was a good sister. I didn't mind, or I told myself I didn't mind. I had a home base. I had family close. I had a place to come back to after brutal shifts where people died and others survived, and I held all of it in my hands. Then I met Rachel. Rachel, who was a physical therapist at County General, who had steady hands, and a steadier heart, who asked me questions and waited for answers, who didn't assume she knew my story. Rachel, whose parents lived in a small house they'd paid off, who treated their children like individuals instead of resources, who visited for holidays and then went back to their own lives without demands or expectations. Rachel's father was an accountant. At Thanksgiving dinner at their house, small, warm, full of laughter that didn't have edges, he asked me about my living situation. I told him. He asked to see the numbers. I showed him. You're paying for everything? He asked. It's my house, but they're not paying rent, not contributing to utilities, not covering any maintenance. They're my parents, I said. You're their landlord, he said. A landlord who's losing money every month. Rachel squeezed my hand under the table. Her mother passed the potatoes. Her father continued, gentle but firm. You're not being generous. You're being taken advantage of. There's a difference. That night, Rachel asked me what I wanted, not what my parents needed. Not what Kyle expected. What I wanted. My own space, I said. I want to wake up in my house and not wonder if it's really mine. It is yours, she said. The deed says so. They don't act like it. Then make them, she said. I went home to my house that did and feel like mine and found my parents in the living room watching television. My television, I realized. On my couch, in my house. We need to talk about rent, I said. My mother looked up, surprised. Rent? You've been living here for 4 years without paying rent. Market rate for this area is $2,500 a month. I'd like you to start contributing. We can't afford that, my father said. Then contribute what you can. Utilities, groceries, something. This is our home, my mother said. It's my house, I said. I own it. I pay for it. I've been covering everything while you treat it like it's yours. We thought you were helping family, my father said. I'm letting you live here. But I need you to contribute. They looked at each other. Something passed between them, some silent conversation I wasn't part of. Then my mother smiled, sweet and sharp. We'll think about it. They never thought about it. They never contributed. When I brought it up again, my father said, We're family. We don't charge each other rent. You're living in my house, I said. We raised you in this house, my mother said. In a different house, I bought this one. You sold it to me. A technicality, my father said. That word again, technicality, like ownership was negotiable. Like my name on the deed was a suggestion. I called my real estate attorney, the one who'd helped me buy the house. I explained the situation. She listened, then said, You need to decide what you want. If you want them out, I can't help with that. If you want them to pay rent, we can formalize that. But you can't keep existing in this gray area where they ignore your ownership and you let them. I don't want to kick them out, I said. Then you need leverage, she said. Something that makes them take you seriously. I didn't use the leverage. I thought I wouldn't need to. I thought eventually they'd understand. I thought they'd respect that I owned the house, that I paid for everything, that I was entitled to basic acknowledgement. Then I came home to change locks. My parents stood in my living room, looking at me like I was the one being unreasonable. My mother's hands twisted together. My father's face was stone. You can't kick us out, my mother said. I can, I said. I'm the owner. You're guests who just tried to illegally evict me. We're your parents. And I'm your landlord, I said. A landlord you just disrespected in the worst way possible. We were trying to help you, my father said. Help me by kicking me out of my house. You're too dependent on us, my mother said. I laughed once, dry and low. Dependent on you. I pay for everything. You don't pay rent. You don't cover utilities. You changed the locks on my house and tried to kick me out, and somehow I'm the dependent one? You live with your parents at 32, my father said. That's not normal. You live with me, I said, in my house that I paid for, while contributing nothing. And you think I'm the problem? Silence, 30 days, I said. Find a new place. I'll draw up formal notice. Jordan, please, my mother started. You changed the locks, I said. My voice didn't shake. You stood on my porch and told me I didn't belong in my own home. You called my ownership a technicality. You humiliated me, and you think I should let you stay. We made a mistake, my father said. Yes, I said. You did. And mistakes have consequences. I went to my bedroom in my house, and closed the door. I called Rachel. She came over with overnight bags, and her calm presence and her refusal to be surprised by my family's dysfunction.
30 days? She asked. 30 days, I said.
My parents didn't speak to me for 3 days. They moved through the house like ghosts, silent and reproachful. On the 4th day, my mother left a note on the kitchen counter. We can't afford first and last month's rent. Can you help? I wrote back. No, you have savings. Use them. Another note. Our savings are for retirement. My response. Then use credit. Or ask Kyle. I'm done being the resource. Kyle called that night. Mom says you're kicking them out. Mom and Dad changed the locks on my house and tried to evict me. I'm giving them 30 days to find a new place. That's harsh. What's harsh is locking me out of my own property. They were trying to help you grow up. I bought a house at 28, Kyle. I'm plenty grown up. Where were you when they needed money? Silence. That's what I thought, I said. I've been paying for everything for 8 years. You've been sending texts about your adventures. Don't tell me I'm being harsh. He hung up. He didn't call back. Day 14, my parents were still there. I came home from work to find my mother in the kitchen, cooking dinner. She looked up when I entered, hopeful. I made your favorite, she said. Chicken parmesan. Thank you, I said. How's the apartment search going? Her face fell. We haven't found anything suitable. You have 16 days, I said. Jordan, please, can't we work this out? We'll pay rent. We'll contribute. You've had 8 years to contribute, I said. You chose not to. You chose to change locks instead. I'm done negotiating. Day 23, they hired a lawyer. He called me at work. Mr. and Mrs. Ellis would like to discuss a settlement. There's nothing to settle, I said. They have 7 days to vacate. They're your parents. Surely you can show some compassion. They changed the locks on my house. Surely they should have shown some respect. They're willing to pay rent going forward. I'm not interested. They can find their own place. You're making this very difficult. They made it difficult when they committed illegal eviction, I said. I'm making it legal. Day 29, they packed. Boxes filled the hallway. My mother cried. My father loaded boxes into a moving truck with tight, angry movements. I stayed in my room with Rachel and didn't help.
You okay? Rachel asked. I think so, I said.
Day 30, they left. My mother stood in the doorway one last time, looking at the house like she was memorizing it. I hope you're happy, she said. I hope you understand why I needed this. I said. She didn't answer. They drove away in my father's truck, headed to a 2-bedroom apartment across town that cost them $1,800 a month. Kyle had sent them a check for first month's rent. Guilt money, probably. Too little, too late. I changed the locks again. My locks, my keys. My house. Rachel moved in 2 months later. We painted the walls. We bought new furniture. We made the house ours, truly ours, with artwork we chose and dishes we picked out and a life we built together. My parents didn't call for 6 months. Then my mother left a voicemail. We'd like to talk. I called back. We met for coffee. Neutral territory. We want to apologize, my mother said. She didn't sound sorry. She sounded careful. For what specifically? I asked. For the misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding, I said. You changed the locks on my house and tried to kick me out. We thought we were helping. You weren't, I said. You were helping yourselves to my property and my money. My father shifted in his seat. We didn't realize you felt taken advantage of. I told you multiple times I needed you to contribute. You refused. We thought you were overreacting. And now? I asked. They looked at each other. My mother's mouth tightened. We think you overreacted. I stood up. Then we don't have anything else to discuss. Jordan, wait, my mother said. No, I said. You don't get to pretend you were helping me when you were using me. You don't get to rewrite history. I saved you from foreclosure. I bought your house. I paid for everything. And you thanked me by trying to kick me out. I'm done pretending that's okay. I left them at the coffee shop. I didn't look back. Freedom whispers, doesn't roar. It's having keys that work in your own locks. It's paying a mortgage and knowing it's yours. It's waking up in your house and not wondering if someone will try to take it. It's silence that settles instead of aches. Boundaries don't destroy families, they define them. They show who respects you and who wants to control you. My parents wanted a daughter who provided without question, who sacrificed without complaint, who gave without keeping score. I wanted to be treated like an adult who owned property and deserved respect. Some people call that selfish. I call it necessary. Ownership has a name. Mine. The deed doesn't lie. The mortgage statements don't lie. The property tax bills don't lie. And I don't apologize for standing on my porch, holding my keys and saying, this is mine and you need to leave. If you've ever had to draw a line with someone who called it love, share your story below. You're not alone and you don't owe anyone your peace.